What the Welcome to From Center Ice. My name is Courtney. The Chicago Blackhawks kicked off their regular season schedule last night when they faced the Colorado Avalanche, and it was less than ideal. I don't know that many people came away from that game feeling very positive, unless of course you're an Avalanche fan. There were a few positive things. I'm not going to be completely negative in this video, as maybe I would have been if I would have filmed it last night. But you know, having a little time to breathe and all of that and really think about it, they still weren't good. But there were a couple positive things that we can look at. So let's go over the 3 questions I had for last night's game to talk about how this one went down. Question number 1. Can the penalty kill set a good tone to start the season? Yes. The Blackhawks penalty kill last night against the Colorado Avalanche went 4 for 4. Yes, I am just as confused as you are. I don't know how they managed that, except maybe mind control by Fleury. Or maybe after the first period, the Avalanche just kind of felt bad for the Blackhawks. But we gotta take what we can get, and the Blackhawks killed off every single one of the penalties that they took last night, so that is a positive, my friends. Especially after what we saw of the penalty kill in the preseason, where it definitely didn't look very good. They also scored 1 power play goal of their own. So I guess if nothing else, you can say the Blackhawks won the special teams battle last night against the Colorado Avalanche. Congratulations, team. Question number 2. Will Jonathan Toews score his first goal of this regular season? No, unfortunately, Jonathan Toews did not score a goal last night. But he does keep winning face-offs, so I mean, I will take that trade-off. Last season, the Hawks had a horrible time winning face-offs, and it definitely showed, especially on things such as the penalty kill. With the captain back in the lineup, the Hawks' face-off percentage has significantly risen. They won 56.4 of their face-offs last night, so I guess you could also say that they won the face-off battle as well. That sounds great, right? Winning the special teams battle, winning the face-offs battle, but where they did not win was on the scoreboard, and that's the one that matters. But we'll get to that. Question number 3. Can the Blackhawks take advantage of Nathan MacKinnon being out? No, they very much did not take advantage of that at all. Or if they did take advantage of that, I am very afraid for the future matchups against the Avs, especially if the Blackhawks come out playing like they did in the first period last night. So I guess we should talk about how the Blackhawks ended up losing this game. The final score was 4-2 in favor of the Avs, and the Avs scored 3 of those goals in the first 10 minutes of the game. You know, the Blackhawks came out and they just set a fantastic tone for the rest of the night. Now, I did say the final score ended up being 4-2, so thankfully after those first 10 minutes of the game, they only allowed 1 more goal. But allowing 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of a game is not a recipe for success, especially how they did it. 4 minutes and 26 seconds into the first period. Yes, we nearly had 4.5 minutes of hope in this game, except for the fact that the Blackhawks were still being severely outplayed, but at least the score was tied. You know, at 0. But alas, 4 minutes and 26 seconds into the first period, the Blackhawks defenders decided they wanted to play bumper cars instead of hockey. The defensive pairing out there at the time was Connor Murphy and Jake McCabe. Murphy had his guy in the neutral zone, whatever. Jack Johnson of the Colorado Avalanche, a defenseman that was with the Avs on a PTO and has seemingly just kind of been around forever, going from team to team. Anyway, he ended up with the puck. He broke into the Blackhawks zone, coming down the left wing side. The 2 Blackhawks who were in the defensive zone were Tyler Johnson and Jake McCabe. It seemed like Tyler Johnson was going for a change, but then he got distracted by something on the ice, so he just kind of stood there. And then Jake McCabe ran into him and fell over. Bumper cars. So Jack Johnson, of all players, had a breakaway and beat Fleury. He looked like a regular old offensive dynamo out there on that play. I understand that the Blackhawks were being severely outplayed and very outshot in that first period, but that is one that Fleury needs to save. Yes, it's a breakaway and it happened because of a lot of mistakes from the guys in front of him, but it's Jack Johnson on a breakaway. You can't blame Fleury for the loss last night, but he should have had at least 2 of those goals. This first one, a breakaway goal by Jack Johnson, is one of them. But It's alright. It's the first game of the season. Things happen. Crazy things happen in hockey all the time, like Jack Johnson scoring a breakaway goal. Just take a moment to breathe, regroup, and move on. It's okay. Until 5 minutes and 48 seconds into the first period, when Gabriel Landeskog and Calvin DeHaan are standing right in front of Marc-Andre Fleury, Eric Johnson takes a shot from the point. It hits Nazem Kadri. It goes off of Gabriel Landeskog and redirects past Marc-Andre Fleury. No one is really at fault here. DeHaan was tying up Landeskog's stick. I'm pretty sure it went off of his ankle or something in his foot region. Redirects happen. There's not much anybody can do about it, but with the way that first period was going and that putting the Colorado Avalanche up 2-0, it was very annoying at the time, and became even more annoying late in the game when Gabriel Landeskog did his best to take Kirby Dach out for the whole season. Thankfully, it appears that Kirby is fine, but he was on his knees in the neutral zone. In comes Landeskog with just a cross-check boarding call, sending Dach head, shoulders first into the boards. He was on his knees. There was no reason for Gabe to come flying in like that. There was no reason for him to hit Kirby at all. That was a dangerous play. That was a dirty play. He is having a hearing for it today. I don't know if it's happened yet. I haven't heard any updates about it, but I hope that he gets a suspension for that because that was dirty. Anyway, we're still in the first period over here, so let's go back to that, unfortunately. Just a few minutes later, 9 minutes and 34 seconds into the first period, once again, Gabe Landeskog has the puck. In comes Bowen Byram, just breaking into the Blackhawks zone, wide open, nobody to be found. Gabe finds him with the puck. Bowen Byram has all the time in the world to just stare down Marc-Andre Fleury, decide where he wants to shoot it, and decide he did because he sent a laser past Marc-Andre Fleury for his first NHL goal. Because of course he would score his first NHL goal against my team when I wanted my team to take him in the draft. You'll recall that the Blackhawks decided to take Kirby Dach with the 3rd overall pick instead of taking Bowen Byram. The Avs took him at 4, and he scored on us last night. And that made the game 3-0 in favor of Colorado. You know, 3, the position where they could have drafted him. Although maybe it doesn't even matter because with how Blackhawks treat their defensive prospects, they probably would have just traded him away for Seth Jones. But anyway, remember how I said the Blackhawks scored a power play goal of their own? 16 minutes and 47 seconds into the first period, Dominik Kubalik had the puck sent to him by Ian Mitchell, and he absolutely bombed that puck past Darcy Kuemper. I don't know how fast that puck was going after it left his stick, but you can barely see it on the replay. That was a shot. And that is something you can put in the positive side for that game, because Kubalik just keeps scoring goals, and they're usually really pretty. And then, thankfully, mercifully, the first period was over. The Avs took a 3-1 lead into the first intermission, and everything seemed horrible. And it didn't really get a whole lot better, but I guess it did get a little better. 16 minutes and 12 seconds into the second period, once again, Byram has the puck. He's breaking up the middle of the ice. He kind of loses the puck, but Nazem Kadri finds it and fires it past Marc-Andre Fleury. The score is 4-1. But that is where the scoring ended for the Colorado Avalanche. Thankfully, it could have been very horrible. I don't know if they let off the gas a little bit. I don't know if Fleury just got really dialed in. I don't know if the defense just got a whole hell of a lot better. But the Blackhawks did improve their play after that first period. And 15 minutes and 31 seconds into the third period, Connor Murphy wanted to get in on the fun. He had the puck in the zone, just kind of walked toward the net and rifled the puck past Darcy Kuemper. The score was 4-2, and that's how the game ended. But the game did not end before, 1, we thought Kirby Dach was severely injured because of that dirty hit by Gabriel Landeskog, and 2, we thought Alex DeBrincat was severely injured because he left his glove on the ice and skated off to the bench with a purpose, holding his wrist. I was seeing the season flash before my eyes. Because while we have more players who can score on this roster, obviously because Cat did not get a goal last night and the Blackhawks put 2 up on the board, if the Blackhawks lose Alex DeBrincat, this season is, going to suck a lot. But to my surprise, and I think to the surprise of many people in Blackhawks land, Cat came back on the ice a few shifts later and was out there to end the game while the Blackhawks were trying to score while they had their net empty. And they actually looked like they were playing with purpose while they had an empty net, which was nice to see after the disaster that was the rest of the game. I found out Patrick Kane was actually playing when he was on the ice with the empty net trying to score. So that was a fun fact I didn't know for like the first 55 minutes of the game. Yes, I did know Patrick Kane was playing last night, but I don't think that he did. Another positive from this game was Kirby Dach, period. He was doing absolutely everything out there except scoring, but he sure was trying. So far, we've seen Kirby be a pass-first type player, and we've been yelling for him to shoot the puck, us and people all around the Twitterverse, and he couldn't stop shooting the puck last night. He got credited for 5 shots. It seemed like a lot more than that, but maybe that's because it was one of the only good things in that game, so I just made it seem like more in my head to make it seem like there were more good things happening. But he looked very good. He had 2 breakaways, he couldn't score on them. But anybody who blames Kirby Dach for the loss last night, just stop. The mood for the game started out horrible, with the Avs scoring 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of the game, and that just kind of carried through because nobody aside from Kirby and maybe 1 or 2 other players really stood out and looked great. But it was the first game of the regular season, and I really hate that excuse, it's only 1 game. Yeah, well, the other team looked pretty dang good in 1 game, and it was a 9 p.m. Central start, but we're back to a normal season now. Those types of things can't be excuses anymore. This team has to be good because they went out in the offseason and made a bunch of moves to be good. Last night, they were not good. So you can see where the frustration is. It's understandable that with a bunch of new guys in the lineup, they are going to need time to mesh and get that chemistry, but I wasn't really concerned with the new guys last night. Where the heck was Patrick Kane? If he is going to play like that this season because he is still injured or for whatever reason, he should have just gotten that fixed in the offseason. If he was going to miss time, so be it. Because one thing that the Blackhawks cannot have if they want to be competitive this year is having Patrick Kane in the lineup, but him being invisible for 55 minutes a night. And it's especially irritating because he had such a great first half of the season last year, and then once we hit like the midway point in March, I was saying the same thing. He was just invisible out there. And for the Blackhawks to be good, they need Patrick Kane to be good. Again, yes, plenty of other guys who can score, but Kane's going to get a lot of ice time. He needs to do something with it. So that is where much of my frustration lies. If you just ignore the first period from last night, the last 2 periods were pretty decent considering the competition. But in that first period, they got outshot 18-8. Thankfully, they were able to even out the ice a bit, and they ended up pretty much catching up. The shots at the end of the game ended up being 36-34 in favor of Colorado. But I am tired of talking about this game because it's just frustrating the way that some guys played. So this is one that you just wad up, throw in the garbage, and set it on fire. I'm kind of annoyed that I have to say that so soon this season, you know, game 1, but here we are. So let's look ahead to game 2, which is tomorrow night, Friday night, against the New Jersey Devils. Here are my 3 questions. Question 1, will Patrick Kane decide to show up? The question speaks for itself. And I don't just mean in the last 5 minutes if the Blackhawks are losing. Question 2, will the Blackhawks start the game on time? They got scored on 3 times in the first 10 minutes last night. The final score ended up 4-2. If you chop out those first 10 minutes, the Blackhawks end up winning 2-1. I know that's not how this works, obviously, but the Blackhawks need to start on time, be ready to play from the moment the puck drops. The New Jersey Devils improved their roster in the offseason, but they are not as good as the Colorado Avalanche, so maybe it's a better test for this Blackhawks team. But they cannot come out and take them lightly. Question 3, will Kirby Dach keep shooting the puck? It was so nice to see Kerbs out there actually shooting the puck instead of just deferring and passing it whenever he was in front of the net. Sure, it was frustrating that some of those pucks didn't go in, but Darcy Kuemper played a pretty good game for the Avs. And since Kirby is used to passing the puck all the time, he needs to get used to shooting the puck and picking his spots. That will come the more he does it. So hopefully he continues that on Friday night and gets some more shots and maybe gets that first goal of the season. So those are my 3 questions for Friday night's game against the New Jersey Devils. How did you feel about the first game of the season, and do you have any questions for Friday night's game? Let me know. Leave them in the comments down below. If you would like to hear more from me or from Center Ice, you can head on over to FromCenterIce.com. There's links to absolutely everywhere where you can find us over there. I tried to make it very easy, but if you are more of a social media person, you can find the links to all of those platforms down in the description for you. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that and hit the like button on this video because it would make me very happy. All of that being said, thank you so very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I will catch you all after the next game. Bye, guys.